Welcome, folks, to Gordium, where we generate, evaluate, and execute on startup ideas. We just actually had a big update to our process, which is really fun and exciting. So, check out our last video if you're just joining us, where we talked about the problem of optimizing for success versus information. So, um, we're going to switch gears here, though. This is a much lighter problem, which is that, and this is actually a very interesting problem. I'd be curious to think about this in other cultures, that there's not really like a Taco Bell for Indian food. And what I find really fascinating about this, Neil, is, for example, I was out, I live in Los Angeles, and I was out in Burbank, and there's a Mongolian barbecue fast food joint. And so
Oh,
it's super interesting to me that Mongolia, which is much less of a cultural powerhouse, I feel like, than
yeah.
India. India has Bollywood. There's all this. That Mongolian barbecue is like more of a fast food thing. And what's interesting, especially in Los Angeles and Grand Rapids to a certain extent, there's a lot of really great local Indian restaurants. But
Hmm.
there doesn't seem to be the same kind of chainy thing, which
Yeah.
you could argue is a good thing. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, and I want to be very clear that Taco Bell is not Mexican food.
yeah,
Um, and the sort of, I think,
yeah,
um, yeah, I think there's, as there's space for Taco Bell for Mexican food. Um, I just curious if there's space for another ethnic food that is very good, such as Indian food, where you've got this, nicer or I guess really authentic version. Is there Americanized and sort of offbeat version potential?
yeah. And why hasn't that happened? And I'd love to know the story of Taco Bell. Even I don't really even know. Or out here it's Del Taco.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and out here it's really interesting because there's a lot of coexistence of a variety of really great, really just Latin food. You talk about Salvadorian, you talk about Colombian, and all of it kind of in here that coexists along something like Del Taco, or
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's just, yeah,
Yeah, I wonder if it like how do what does fast food look like in India? Because uh I'm guessing McDonald's is there, and I'm guessing because it's India, they don't serve any beef. Um,
oh, that's a fascinating point.
so
Yeah.
what do they serve? Um, so like when I was recently in Chile and they served empanadas, um, and when I lived in Indonesia, you got you got a rice ball with your hamburger, not fries. So
Whoa. Huh.
what 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 do they serve in India? And then, could something similar be implemented here, stateside, as a standalone restaurant? Um, Alternatively, what do I'm guessing there's like street vendors um, that sell food in India, similar to what they had in Indonesia. Um, and what kind of foods do they sell? Because though I think of Indian food being rice and some sort of like curry, like saucy entree,
Oh, and that wouldn't
and
really
that
translate.
wouldn't be good for fast food. But yeah, street vendors need to sell, um yeah, something that you can eat on the go. um
Well, I wonder if that's why elements of, well, I don't even know if you can
well
call it even
eh,
elements of Mexican food, like is a taco, but
yeah.
that's technically portable, and same with a burrito, or it kind of reminds me of bento boxes, which are also fast foodized in some ways.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, and then is that where the Taco Bell element comes in, where it's like, okay, you just dote this in or coat this in some Dorito dust and you know deep fry it and then call it good.
Yeah.
Is that the gap that is missed?
Like that this food is not easily converted into something
Yeah,
portable
and
and
that is
yeah.
both the that is the key to unlock it, where it's like, okay, no one with true respect for Indian food would be willing to unlock it, but that's what America does so great.
Is
um it
commoditize and standardize.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And make it, twist it to the point where someone would be offended or just not even recognize it.
Well,
um
yeah. Well, I think that's what's so interesting about Taco Bell is like it's so like it just doesn't even it's like if you go like Leo's Tacos is a taco truck that's spectacular in
yeah.
uh in Los Angeles and like there's like one menu item that would appear like if you were to well not even there's not even ground beef it's carnitas which is like more
Yeah.
like pulled beef and it's just so interesting that like yeah it's not even really recognizable um
Hmm.
like there's no chorizo in Taco Bell which is interesting that they don't do that because chorizo is relatively inexpensive like
Yeah.
yeah yeah it would
um
be interesting to I really think it'd be interesting to see what Taco Bell's journey was because how do you go from you know
yeah.
how did they choose to go with ground beef as their primary
Well,
versus something
really, how do you get to the nachos
the
in a quesadilla, in a burrito?
yeah and how does it survive yeah
Yeah.
that'd be fascinating that makes me want to this would be a fun lean canvas I think but
Yeah.
let's see so I feel like there's only one solution here, and that's bad Americanized version of Indian food,
Oh, yeah.
right? Can there be another?
Well, I guess it doesn't need to be. I guess it could also be like the street vendor model, whatever that means.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Right?
Like
It
a
doesn't
more
need to be bad. It could just be authentic. Whatever they.
is there a big chain that's simultaneously authentic?
Um. I
Like
don't know.
Benihana? That's a chain, but I mean that's not a fast food chain. It's a sit down. And
Yeah.
I don't know that cuisine. I don't know. I'm sure it's a fusion of a million things and yeah. I think it's hard when you take I think fast food is very geography agnostic, but like
Hmm.
really authentic food can't be,
Yeah.
you know?
I
So I
think
think it's like a
your only way of getting close would be American food, because it's like already squished up and pressed out and not in its original shape, you know, and then you can, make a chain of it.
so like
And
is American food authentic? American
yeah,
fast food authentic?
yeah, and I don't know, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a tough question to answer.
I
Because
don't know.
I don't even know how I would describe American cuisine. I mean,
Well,
I guess you could get into
it,
regional.
it's American. You think of you know burgers and hot dogs and like the grill, which
Yeah.
that's like German food, right? It, it's it's like, okay, Germans do their sausage as well. okay, let's make a hot dog. And
which, which
and it,
granted, yeah.
I guess it, food for thought, is the hot dog the original Taco Bell?
Huh. Yeah, this makes me want to like really dig into the roots of different foods that we have and figure out why. Because I guess the closest I think of like what I might call like comfort food, like a pork loin and meatloaf and steak and potato like that. That feels American, I guess. But also avocado toast feels American,
Mm-hmm.
and those don't really fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Do we have any connections here?
Um, this one's
Food.
kind of offbeat.
One of my experiments buying Soylent. People can't season their food well.
Yeah.
This might solve that, at least when people go to eat fast food.
Yeah.
Because curries are well seasoned generally.
Yeah.
Do we have any other? Oh, there's a lack of good info about local restaurants.
Yeah.
Make all the
Well,
local restaurants chains.
yeah. Lose all individuality. And that is, oof. I don't think we're answering these. Maybe this isn't a problem.
Yeah, maybe this is actually a feature that this. Well, and I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, like, I was gonna say, would it wipe out really great all these great original authentic? Well, that's actually a really good interesting question. Would an Indian version of Taco Bell, would that decrease the market share for these local restaurants that seem really vibrant?
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard because I don't know the answer. I don't know what impact Taco Bell has had on. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my shoot from the hip response would be no. You'd be competing with other fast food chains, but I don't know.
Yeah. Huh. Are you ready to rate?
Yeah.
All right. I think I am as well.
Motivation, I give a 0.
Yeah, I actively dislike this idea.
It's fun to kind of think about and joke around with, but I have no desire to test it.
No, speed to test. I feel like I have my answer.
This is 0. This would take a long time and a
How? I
lot of
don't even.
effort to get to.
Yeah. You could maybe make a fake restaurant and promote it and see how, but that's not really.
Yeah.
All right, impact.
Yeah, I give a 0.
Is there a negative number for a negative impact? I think this would have a negative impact more I think about it.
Wow.
Well,
Look at that.
this is like a whole new category. This is like I think this is our first all zeros, first of all. I also think it's a separate category from a Shark's Tank where it's just like it's just a bad, like this solution would fundamentally worsen the world, potentially. Right? Like, I think this is.
I'm not convinced you're right,
Yeah,
but I'm also not convinced you're wrong.
it has the potential to make the world worse in a tangible way.
No, this feels like it belongs in the world of Idiocracy.
Is that are you referencing the movie?
Yeah.
Let's make a tag for that. Idiocracy. Yeah. I'm in.
Right. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go water the fields with Mountain Dew right after I grab some Indian Taco Bell.
Oh, that does sound like it fits. Oh, idiocracy, an idea that would actively make the world worse. Worsen the world. Okay. And on that note, folks, it's time to end our program. Thank you for joining us. Have a good one.